Hi and welcome back. In this video tutorial, we're going to cover ABC Ranch's assets. And the reason you need to enter your assets is because as they decrease in value, they are going to need repairs and they're going to eventually need to be replaced. So we come up with the percentage of the current market value to expense across your operation, and that's called depreciation. So it's a small charge each year to account for the fact that machinery and buildings is aging and therefore losing value. So in the document on ABC Ranch, you'll see that there's a table for machinery assets and a table for building assets. And also in this machinery table, you'll see that some of them are powered assets and some of them are non-powered. And so non-powered equipment has a higher depreciation rate than the powered machinery, and we'll get into that when you get into the calculator, you'll see it. So I'm just going to go to the Assets for Depreciation tab. It's after the expenses and unpaid labor. It's tab number 12, and there's information here. Enter all your asset information, the name, its current value, so not the purchase price, be wary of that. It's not what you paid for it, it's its current market value. And then its percentage used in each enterprise. So you'll see step 1 entered your powered machinery assets. So in the case of ABC Ranch, they have a tractor that's valued at $2,000, and there is pre-entered rates here. 8% is the typical rate that we use when calculating depreciation on powered machinery. You could go in there and put 0 if you don't think it's decreasing any more in value. It's never going to get any, it's fully depreciated and it's not going to get any lower in value. Or if you wanted, you could say increase it if you felt that 8% was too low. 8% is the standard rate that's been used in cost of production programs that I have used in the past, and I'm going to continue to go with those set rates. So for depreciation at 8% on something that's only worth $2,000, it's $160 depreciation. And this tractor is just used to run some small haying equipment and do a little bit of work in pastures, so it's split 50-50 between the forage and grazing. ABC Ranch has an auger worth $500. That's used to auger the barley that they feed to the cattle. It's 75, 15, and 10%, and that totals up to 100. So you can see that red shading disappears as the allocation adds up to 100%. Tractor with front end loader, $28,000 value. So that's $2,240 depreciation for the year. And the allocations that ABC Ranch has provided is 50% to the cow-calf enterprise, 15% to backgrounders, 10% to 15% to replacement, 10% to backgrounders, 20% to hay, and 5% grazing. An ATV, $12,000, and it gets used 20%, so this is sort of like an easy way just saying equal across all of them. There's a half-ton truck, a newer one, and an older one. One worth $4,500 and one worth $28,000. And similarly, those are shared equally across. So I just did a drag. If you're familiar at all with Excel, then there's some simple ways to quickly add in information and numbers instead of having to one by one enter all those. So that's actually it for the powered machinery. And now the next one says stock trailer. So if we return back to this calculator, there's a number of rows provided there. So hopefully it will for every operation, and you don't run out of space. And some people, if you're just starting to play with this calculator, you might not want to put all the detail, and you actually put tractors and all of them lumped together in one total, and one maybe it says haying equipment and it's all totaled, and then you just split it out. It's better to break it out and provide more detail, but it's whatever more detail will probably get you a more accurate result. But if you're just experimenting and starting to learn how to use this tool, you might want to just say tractors and have it all together. You have $30,000 in tractors, and then you have to come up with another way to split them out, okay? And you wouldn't have this one. You'd close this one out. You wouldn't have it. You'd have it all there, and you'd have to change your percentages above. Okay, so we'll scroll down to step 2. That's the non-powered machinery. So for ABC Ranch, they have the stock trailer valued at $10,000. And the stock trailer gets used 80% in the cow-calf, 5% in the replacements, and 15% in the backgrounders. And, a quick way to do this, if you're having trouble trying to figure out the use of your stock trailer, you can think of, it can be as simple as, well, adding up all your head counts. And 80% of my livestock is cows, 5% is replacements, and 15% of all the livestock on my operation is backgrounders, and you can come up with a simple percentage breakout that way. There's a hay bind for $10,000, and obviously that's 100% to the forage enterprise. The rake, $2,000, baler, $20,000, and obviously these are all for making hay, so you do 100%. Bale trailer, $1,500. And post pounder, $1,000. And you could similarly here, you could say, yeah, it's maybe only got 5% left in it, and it's used 100% into my grazing land. And then I'll scroll down to the last table. It's where you enter your information on your building, storage, fence, and livestock equipment asset details. So this table can get, there's perhaps not even enough rows, but if you can find a way to get all your asset information in here that pertains to those, they decrease at a value of 5% a year. So the shop valued at $40,000. Chute and handling system valued at $20,000. Cattle shelters valued at $25,000. And then the breakouts percentage-wise, 50, 15, 7, 20, and 8. I'm just following along exactly what's in the printout for ABC Ranch. 75, 10, and 15. Cattle shelters, 60, 25, and 15. And so on and so forth. You'll put in all the information that's provided in the ABC Ranch document. And I'll just take you to the fully populated one. See all the numbers put in here for all of the assets. Then you'll see summaries at the bottom of each table that shows for buildings, storage, fence, and livestock equipment, a total of $4,500 is getting applied to the cow-calf enterprise, $1,331 to the replacements, $919 to the backgrounders. When it comes to non-powered machinery, the bulk of it's getting applied. You can see $3,853 of $5,118 total to the hay enterprise or forage enterprise. And on your powered machinery, the bulk of the depreciation is going against the cow-calf enterprise, followed by the hay enterprise. Okay, so that's the information. This can be a lengthy process in your first year as well, listing all your assets and your percentages, but for each subsequent year participation in cost of production for your operation, you just need to go in and change these, decline back, lower them or adjust them as needed, and then remove assets that were sold and enter in the assets that were purchased in that year if there's any changes made on that level. And that's everything. I'm just going to save it here. Thanks for joining me, and in the next tutorial we'll go over the summary details because we've actually entered all of the production and financial information that's required. Thank you.